Welcome to Expedient Means with Lin Wei on Time Monk Radio. Lin currently resides in China and is the founder and head teacher of Guizhen Philocultural Society. He has extensive experience in Buddhist and Taoist meditation, Qigong, martial arts, and traditional Chinese medicine. To learn more about Lin, please visit his website at www.guizhenhui.net. Tonight, Lin will be speaking about the 50 Skandha demon states.
Okay, welcome back to Expedient Means. This is Lin Wei, and today we're going to be doing a show on introducing the 50 Skandha demon states of the Shurangama Sutra. The Shurangama Sutra was spoken by the Buddha a long, long, long time ago, Sakyamuni Buddha. And, well, this sutra that we're going to be talking about today, the text I'm utilizing is from the Buddhist Text Translation Society, and it had commentary by Venerable Master Xuanhua. And I'm not going to make commentary on the 50 Skandha demon states, only because it's a gigantic section. It'll be too much to handle in a 45-minute show or having consecutive shows covering it. So what we'll do is just an introduction on what we'll be seeing in the 50 Skandha demon states and what it's a little bit about. And generally, the 50 Skandha demon states is really the Buddha telling everyone, hey, you're a cultivator. You practice and you experience different types of states. Be careful. Inner demons are strong. Outer demons are strong. You attract them because of the false thinking in your mind. So when you're starting to get a little bit good skill along the way, you're going to get different types of ghosts, goblins, demons, spirits, situations around you that screw around with your head. They can make you feel like you're great, make you feel like you're terrible. So you have to be really careful, be really cautious, and pay attention to what I'm going to tell you. So he lays out, and this is all for cultivation, he lays out about 50 different types, but he's generalizing it. They could be 500, they could be 500 million, it could be 500 trillion, it could be 10 billion, who knows, quadrillion, whatever, any number you want to get. It can be many because they can become so complex and so trivial. So to really find out if they really are just a certain amount is really ridiculous, because a person's mind is very complex, intertwined with so many different things all at once. They can go on and on forever about these false thinkings and demon states and whatnot. So he generalized into 50 of them. Okay, if you want the sutra, the Shurangama Sutra, you can find it on my website, guizhenhui.net, GUIZHENHUI.net, and scroll down on the home page. You'll find a section, a small little word there. It says the Great Compassion Dharma Door. That's our website. You click on that one. And then you go to the library there. And you can download all 8 volumes of the Shurangama Sutra with commentary by Master Xuanhua. Okay? And you can read it yourself. And remember, the 8th volume is the volume on the 50 Skandha demon states, which I advise everyone to read. If you're not going to read the whole Shurangama Sutra, all 8 volumes, just read the 8th volume. Okay, if you're a cultivator of whatever tradition you're in, read it, study it. I mean, really, it'll be so important. It is so important. I've been reading the Shurangama Sutra since 2005. On and on, I read over and over and over and over. I never put it down. I stayed with it first. I'm staying with it at the end. And I still go, and I still do read, other sutras here and there. And I still try to investigate what they say, but I mainly focus on the Shurangama Sutra. That is my foundation. That's how I started with my Buddhist teacher. When I received the Buddha Dharma, it was through the Shurangama Dharma. Okay. So that's what I started with in this aspect of training. When I was younger, I started with meditation, Chan, and the Taoist practices in meditation and whatnot. But it all came around when I started getting a little bit more ahead, I guess, or maybe when I was just ready, when I started getting different types of practices. Then later on, the door opened for the Shurangama Sutra, and everything changed. So, I advise again, try to get this sutra. and read, study, study, study. Very important. And then contemplate it, and you will get far. As long as you apply, though, you have to apply practice. So what about the 50 Skandha demon states? So we talk about demons all the times in cultivation. What kind of demons are we talking about? Are they like, what kind of demons? Crazy people are we talking about? Well, there's different types of demons. There's earth demons, human demons, ghost demons, strange creatures, spirit demons, heavenly demons, sickness demons, there's little goblins, and whatnot. And they'll all be there to disturb your deep concentration. They really want to screw around with your samadhi power, your concentration power. They want you to fall off the wheel, basically. And where do they come from? Where do demons come from? They're produced from your own mind. They come from your own mind. The form skandha, the form consciousness. Through false thinking and defiled views, attachments, demons of the mind arise. Then you have heavenly demons too. We'll get to that in a moment. They arise as a relative manifestation of your application of concentration. It's like the seeds of views and thoughts which have been planted in your mind for a long time. Eventually, when you're cultivating, you begin to shake up the ground of the mind, to shake up the mind ground, so to say, and all the roots, all the seeds that have sprouted roots, they start to show, the roots start to show, they become apparent. And when this happens, the roots of our views and attachments become very obvious, and they just stand out more so than others. Ones that are deeper, ones that are stronger in affliction, they stand out first. During this time, it's so easy to create more false thinking, more views and attachments, unless we apply the right tools of practice. You've got to be mindful. That's why a good foundation would be the Eightfold Path. It's a good foundation to help you, focus strictly on what you need to accomplish, what you need to do. Very important. The apparent manifestation of these things, the obvious appearance of these views and attachments, which seem to obstruct the mind even further, they're called demons of the mind. Okay? They're demons of the heavens too. We just said we're going to get to it, so I'm getting to it. These demons usually don't bother you unless your concentration power is really getting somewhere. And you're about to accomplish the way also. Like, if you have good concentration, you may get a passing ghost that says, so what is he doing? He's meditating. Let's make his ear itch. Let's make his nose twitch. Let's make him sneeze. And if you get a little stronger in your practice, you may get a sickness ghost that says, well, you know what? Let's give him like bronchitis or something. Let's give him a headache right now. Or let's give him knee pains when he gets out of meditation. Leave the knee pain for like a week so he can't sit in full lotus. And you get a little stronger and further, then you get stronger types of spirits, demons, goblins, ghosts, whatever, come to bother you. And right when you're ahead and you're really ready to push through and you're breaking the threshold of your mind, and you're finally like, this is it, it's getting close to it, the demons in the heavens go, oh, what is he doing? They come around. They say, ooh, we're going to take his cultivation power away. They don't want you to mess around with them. I mean, when you've reached a high level in practice and you're really ready to break through and awaken and attain the way, the earth quakes. Some people are sensitive enough to feel it. Animals can feel it. All types of other living beings can feel it. Just humans they're not developed in their sensory perception. Not many, Not many people do have a developed sense of perception to feel the earth quake a little, to feel how things shake and rumble and crack and whatnot. Nobody dies from one who gets enlightened and the earth quaking. No one dies from that. But what does happen is the demons of the desire heavens, their palaces, their land, their realm shakes. It's almost like things start to fall down. Their whole world collapses, and they're like, where the hell is this coming from? So they put on their radar and they check. And they see, oh my God, this guy, he's really going through. He's almost going to break through and awaken to the way. what are we going to do? Well, let's go over there and smack him in the head. Let's instead of that, maybe we can go get a pretty girl or a handsome guy, and when they go out tomorrow to the store, we can entice them into a night of lust and happiness, and make them lose their essence. Uh-oh. And usually it does work. Whether you're male or female, it usually can work. And then all of a sudden you get married and you forget all about your practice. You think, oh, well, I had a baby, so I can't really have time to sit there and cultivate anymore, which is the wrong views. You have a child, that should be even more reason to practice. You want to have that child, give him or her a really good foundation, a good example of what can happen as a cultivator. Oh, that's very important. Excuse me. That's very important. I mean, the best thing you can do as a cultivator is maintain your practice for your family. Make time. If you don't have time, well, what do you go to sleep at 11 o'clock at night and wake up at 6? You have between 11 and 6. That's a lot of time. So maybe you can't wake up early enough, because if you go to sleep at 12, you can't wake up at 6. You're going to be too tired. So why don't you just wake up at 5? Why don't you wake up at 4:30? Why even bother sleeping? I mean, cultivate so much where your energy is full and you don't have to sleep so much. You watch how you eat. You watch what you say. Watch what you do. Watch what you think. Watch what you see. Watch basically how you do things with your senses. And you'll be able to stop your energy from leaking out. Remember, our senses, all 6 of them, leak energy out. They create outflows. We create outflows with our minds, and it goes through our senses, and we get taken by our senses. So, to control that, when heavenly demons come around and say, hey, you're really getting somewhere, let's break it up. Maybe let's make you addicted to some type of drug substance, Some people smoke, and generally smoking is not good for you at all. But as a cultivator, you shouldn't smoke at all. 100% you shouldn't smoke at all. It hurts the body. You'll have to do a lot more work to clean out the problems that smoking gives you. So it's better to not do that. Also, you waste money. I mean, it's a death stick. You don't want to smoke as a cultivator. You're just buying your death. If someone says cultivating and smoking are no problem, you know what? Then smoke, and 3 years, take an x-ray of your lungs. And every 3 years, take an x-ray of your lungs. If your cultivation is so great, it should be like the day before you started smoking. Okay? And you're going to tell me the lungs aren't getting hurt from smoking? Well, sure. You hurt more than just the lungs smoking. So your cultivation goes into, the energy you practice goes into healing the body. Why have to do that in the first place? You waste so much more time and energy. Okay. So maybe the demons will turn around and make you an alcoholic, or make you go drinking and fall a little off. Maybe you took precepts and the demon's like, he took precepts. Oh, then man, let's make him break his precepts. Maybe you're a monk, maybe you're not a monk. So the internal demons are more stronger than external demons, because the internal demons are in your mind so strong. I mean, it's like literally almost as though it's your own voice, your own identification talking to you. People think that it's their own self. We really can talk ourselves to doing such crazy things. We got to be careful. So it's all these demons, these demon kings, they want to try to wipe away our concentration power. They manifest more afflictions to you, or control people to come and bother you, obstruct you and cause you to break precepts, vows, goals, goals that you've had along the way. As a cultivator, maybe you didn't take precepts, maybe you just had a goal you set out to attain or to realize. And you keep going, so they help break your goal. Oh, excuse me. Maybe maybe you took precepts and vows and whatnot, and they want to help you break those vows. Ghosts and spirits will do the same, like we just said before. They'll maybe become jealous of you and passing you by. They can tell basically what kind of level you're on. All these demons and spirits and ghosts and whatnot, they can feel you out. They know where you're going. They can read your minds. Don't think that you're invisible to them because you're a human. You're not the center of the world, and No, you're not the most superior thing on the world. So they can know what kind of level you are, how far you've gotten, if you're about to accomplish the way or not. So if they do become jealous, they will try to do things to interrupt you. Be patient and let things just move along. If you hit any states, you see any visions, you feel any bliss feelings, you wonderful things happening in your life, it's just an outcome of your practice. Do nothing else but continue practice as though it's not happening. These beings, they want to come and steal your treasures, like a thief comes to one's house and steals important things. But what are a person, like a cultivator's true treasures? Anyone can guess? Of course, I can't hear you if you are guessing. Essence, energy, and spirit. Jing Qi Shen. Oh my God. How is that possible? A Buddhist practitioner or one who's considered a Buddhist practitioner talking about Jing Qi Shen? Wow, it's going to turn people upside down, huh? No. This is what we'll call in Buddhist cultivation. And I remember, though I probably said it a few shows before, a Buddhist cultivation is just the coined term of cultivation on this planet that focuses one on attaining their inherent wisdom, leaving the cycle of birth and death. So within this school of practice, we call the Jing Qi Shen, the treasury of the Tathagata, the Buddha body, the Dharma body of the Buddha. Oh my God. Okay, so precepts, vows, goals that you set for yourself, and keep your mind narrow on the path to accomplishing them. It keeps you straight up watching your mind so you can get what you need to get, do what you need to do, and accomplish the way. Without these tools, it would be so harder to have accomplishment in cultivation and in anything else that you're doing. So remember, there's a way of doing things, and then there is the direct way of doing things, which allows you to check your mind and keep you from being taken by the senses. Some feel that, not being taken by the senses means you totally do not feel anything. This is a misunderstanding. They say, Buddhists, they shouldn't have emotions, they shouldn't get angry, they shouldn't feel love, they shouldn't feel happiness, sadness, they're Buddhist. Like these people who say such things don't even know anything about Buddhism whatsoever. And they claim to know. They have no clue who they are, where their mind is, or what the hell is going on in their life. And they claim to know that too, but they don't. A statement like that just shows that the person has no clue what they're talking about. Anyone who becomes a Buddhist, whether it's a monk or not, still has to face their own mind. They still has to work through their own problems. Just because you say you're going to become a Buddhist, maybe you actually do take the refuge ceremony and you take the 5 precepts and you really bust your butt. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to break the precepts by accident. Sometimes you're going to do it on purpose. You know it's wrong, but such a strong force just forces you to break them. So, you're human. You're a living being. You will make mistakes, but don't make mistakes because you can make mistakes. Make mistakes because you had no other choice. You couldn't handle yourself, and you just had to do it. You know what that feeling is like. It's not like, oh, well, I shouldn't drink because of the precept, we shouldn't take alcohol, I shouldn't take toxins, so I'm not going to drink. But you know what, I haven't saw my friends in a long time, and they like to drink a little bit, and I'll have a little drink with them. I don't want them to think I'm weird or anything, and it'll be fun to see them again. And you make your excuses to break your precepts. That has happened. That will happen. So it becomes a strong force. Over time, it really, really strikes you and causes you to do what? Break your precept. You're human. It's going to happen. You're a false thinking mind. Confusion. It's going to happen. But next time, you just don't do that again. Stop yourself. The more you practice, the better you get at it. Okay? So these precepts are there to help you out. Also, don't forget, if a person becomes a monk or a nun, a male or female cultivator in the Buddhist school of left home cultivators, it doesn't mean that they already attained the way. It doesn't mean they're gods. It doesn't mean their sin is special. It doesn't mean they're anything. It just means that they're a person who took precepts, who wants to devote their whole entire Jing Qi Shen, all their essence, energy, and spirit to the practice of these specific methods called Buddhist teachings. They will make mistakes, They will have attachments of material things. They will have attachments of a self until they don't. They will. Of every single thing a person who has not left home experiences, they will have that. Why? Because they're still a living being. Okay? There's no marker except the marker of practice that says you are what you are. What you do is what you are. Okay? So remember that. Now let's go a little further here. So we're saying the precepts, the vows, the goals, they help narrow your mind. It helps you stay focused in what you're doing. Remember, you don't want to be taken by your senses anyway. When you keep being taken by senses, it means that you see the truth. When you keep from being taken by your senses, I mean. It means that you see the truth of the function of the senses. You realize that they are impermanent and only obstruct that which sees, hears, smells, feels, tastes, and thinks. This means that one still senses, but isn't controlled by them. This doesn't mean that they can freely run around saying, all is wonderful and fluffy and great, and, you do whatever they want. It means that they do not create false views and attachments to the sensations that occur. It's like as though they're experienced, but not experienced in the usual way. There's no self in which is experiencing them, so it's like they don't even exist. It's just that things are not muddled once realization of liberation from the senses is attained. You're not a muddled person anymore in that aspect. Now, what are some of the states of, being taken by demons? Well, we're going to go into one. Feeling satisfied after a little accomplishment. Some feel that they've got it after feeling a little bit of energy, feeling a little bit of peace. They experience the states of bliss, seeing visions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, etc. And this is not a grand accomplishment, but simply a usual occurrence in cultivation. It just happens. It is no marker of accomplishment of the way of, or any sign of wisdom whatsoever. It's just like the passing of a cloud in the sky, which has the potential to bring a rainstorm. It's ready to rain, drizzles a little, but it just goes on passing. It's not great at all. It's just a little bit of rain, a little bit of drizzle. It has the potential for more, but just couldn't produce what it needed to produce. It was simply fine with what it had done. Even if you don't get taken by a demon, you should be able to recognize what level you are truly on in cultivation. You don't want to just have a little bit of a feeling, ooh, I felt a chi ball in between my hands. Ooh, I felt automatic bliss and nice electrical feelings in my body. I'm great, I'm wonderful, I know the way of the world. No. You got to know what level in cultivation you are. And not by other people's constructed levels either, but that of the Buddha Dharma. You cultivate the Buddhist teachings, you base your cultivation on that, you will know. Or you can find someone who knows, and then they can help you out. Understand that as a cultivator, there is no such thing as a Buddhism, no such thing as any other type of school. It's just all cultivation. We just call it Buddhism because that's what people can recognize now. And the methods of the teachings are directly for opening up wisdom. All these other cultivation schools, whatnot, they have something in common. It's the cultivation of the mind. Some apply a direct method, such as how to control the mind and, keep it from drifting off into la-la land. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Some focus on feelings and states, etc. The better practice is really to just go deep into a direct path of recognizing states and controlling the mind from being taken by them. We'll call that the Buddha Dharma. But in truth, these names of what we as humans consider them to be are nothing more than masks, expedient methods based on conditions of living beings on this planet. So don't be attached to names and constructs of, what living beings had made on this planet. Don't really just, do that. Simply use the wisdom eye to see the truth of the method. That's very important. You need wisdom, wise discrimination, not this worldly intellect discrimination. That's just not going to get you anywhere. The world, all of space, everything is created by false thinking. Now we're getting a little deeper. There we're talking about feeling a little satisfied after a little accomplishment. Don't get taken by that. Okay, very important. So let's go back here. The world of space, the world, all of space, everything is created by our false thinking, which in turn creates confusion and furthermore more false thinking. When you become a Buddha, when you have realized unsurpassed wisdom, all of space, everything of the 10 directions is obliterated. Excuse me. A little technical problem. Okay, no, we're all taken care of. So, everything of the 10 directions is obliterated. It disappears. Even though there are many who haven't become Buddhas yet, those who have, the world and everything of the 10 directions, even empty space disappears. In the point of view of the Buddha, there is nothing at all. But to those of living beings who have not yet realized Buddhahood, everything is said to seem to exist. If you have the Buddha eye, you can see what's happening in various places, thousands of miles away. But if you haven't, you couldn't. It's really that simple. False thinking thus creates our obstructions and creates our experiences. And false thinking, and the true mind is revealed. Everyone has this true mind. Every Buddha has it. The difference between a Buddha and a non-realized Buddha is that the Buddha is not confused. For those who are listening and thinking they themselves are very clear of how things are, contemplate the world without your views. Do you truly know how things really are? And I say this in a few other shows before. You want to really look at how the world is without your whole construction of the world. Strip the world of everything you based your life on, everything you've based your views on, every outlook you've had, throw it away. What is the whole world now? Do you really know the whole world? And you may sit there and think of what other people view the world as. Oh, no. Strip those away too. Everything, strip away. What is the world now? Very important. Remember, in cultivation, you want to direct the hearing inward, to listen to the inherent nature. That's what all bodhisattvas and arhats and cultivated samadhi do. So far, this aspect that we're talking about now, in the 50 Skandha demon states, talks really much about this. I'm just giving you a little commentary on one of the states explained in the 50 Skandha demon states section of the Shurangama Sutra. Feeling satisfied after a little accomplishment. I wrote this commentary a little. And, I wrote this commentary. Okay. And feeling satisfied, when I was younger, I always felt like that too. I felt, wow, I'm great. I can read someone's mind. Oh, I'm great. I can read someone's future or past life, or, I can know what someone's going to do before they do it so I can prepare. I'm really great. I know the world. Yeah, right. I was in my teens. What did I know? Then I hit my 20s and get a little bit more humble. And you go further and further and you're sitting there going, I really don't have a clue. And just even up to, this happens occasionally, that it's like everything goes right back to, oh, there's a lot more. Oh, okay, good. Oh, I have to put that down. Oh, I have to put that away. Cultivation is like that. You got to break down and change and always look back into what you're doing. So you don't go the wrong path for a certain amount of time and go, oh no, I have to go backwards now. So you always keep up with yourself. You study and you humble yourself out. So 50 Skandha demon states talks very much about a lot of states. Some states are about leaving the body, creating this primordial female, or this type of primordial body that you can send out of the top of your head and travel around different realms and worlds and whatnot. It talks about states of people being able to have magical powers to make other people feel bliss states. Talking about sending energy to people, talking about sending your mind to different heavens. It talks about doing a lot of things with your body, making you have special spiritual powers, making you feel like you've taken like a pill that allowed you to see all the universes out there. You had so many different states, and it goes very deep, very, very deep into them. Master Shanhua's commentary is very, 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 very good. So remember, when not one thought is produced, the Buddha nature and samadhi appear. When your six senses suddenly move and take control, it is as if the sky has become clouded over. It's a quote from the commentary on the 50 Skandha demon states by Master Shanhua. So we have four kinds of selves. Okay, now I'm throwing this in here. And we're going to look at the Shurangama Sutra. We're going to look at the 50 Skandha demon states. You got to be aware of certain things. You'll get it in the sutra anyway. But let's break this down here. 4 kinds of selves. Ordinary people have an attachment to the self. So that's one. It comes from the attachment to the body, right? This is my body. I'm me. Why'd you hit me? I'm hungry. Actually, no, the stomach is hungry. Okay, let's go to number 2. The non-Buddhist religions, or non-Buddhist cultivation. I don't see Buddhism as a religion, no matter which way you want to practice it. But some people do, and whatever. Some of these other schools on cultivation or other religions, they talk on there being a divine self. They say that there is a Godhead, or say that they themselves are God. And now I grew up hearing this, that we are God. Our higher self, our higher consciousness is godlike. Okay, we have to raise our consciousness to the God level, that we are all gods, we are all creators of the world. And I believed that for a short time. I think I was around 12 to about 16, 12 to about 15, I was believing that. And something else happened when I just kept going in my cultivation, going, no, I'm not a God. Something else is going on here. Relativity is just relativity. When you break the state of relativity, things happen. So what happened was, I just kept practicing, and I found, no, we are not gods. Because there's a realm, and there are states of God's state. And there's ways to get there. If we were a god now, we would not be aging. We would not be excreting stinky smell when we sweat. We wouldn't even sweat. Unless we're a god who decided to have a human body and see how that goes. But in any case, probably not. The next type of a self is the bodhisattva's one. Ooh, what's this? Bodhisattvas follow worldly customs and manifest a hypothetical self. Whoa, what does that mean? It means a bodhisattva is selfless. They totally know they're going to make a body. They're going to manifest as a specific body, with a specific body. And people are going to recognize it, and people are going to go, you are this thing, you're this bodhisattva. And they go, yes, hey, there you go, I, blah, blah, blah. And they will identify with it just for the sake of communicating with other people. That's how they function. So don't sit there going, oh, well, the Buddha does that? I was like, yes, the Buddha does that too. So the Buddha manifests as a bodhisattva so he can communicate with people. And bodhisattvas manifest as humans or any other things they want to. So yes, Buddha does that. Buddha turns to bodhisattva. Bodhisattva can turn to anything. So bodhisattva word means awakened sentient being, enlightened sentient being. Let's go to the next one. The Buddhas have the true self, though. And you can have people argue, the Buddhas have a true self, so only the Buddhas have a true self? But stop attaching to words, labels. It doesn't matter that I'm saying a Buddha instead of saying God or say something else. Because Buddha is not God, but a God could become a Buddha. Maybe the Buddha manifests himself as a God to try to teach someone a specific practice, and then go on the other way. What is the Buddha body? Buddha's true self is the Dharma body, all pervasive. It's everywhere because he knows it's pure realized wisdom, purely realized wisdom, all pervasive. The true nature that everyone has, that's everywhere, has nothing to do with religion. Has nothing to do with this is my school of cultivation, that is your school of cultivation. This is my religion, this is your religion. Has nothing to do with that. Who cares? Has everything to do with practice, how you're going to apply your mind. And if we cannot let go of our attachments to words, we're not getting anywhere. When you are cultivating diligently, now we're going to go back to something here. I'm going to go back to talking about essence, energy, and spirit, okay? Excuse me. When you're cultivating diligently, your storehouse of energy, essence, and spirit are full. The various ghosts and goblins, spirits, demons come out looking for you to take your valuables, take your body. Now remember, body doesn't refer to your flesh body, but it's likened to one. Given that it's full in capacity, it's like shining beacon of light in life, It's like this bright light, they swarm to you, they flock to you, and they try to eat your flesh. But in fact, it isn't your flesh. It's your essence, energy, and spirit. If anyone remembers the story of A Journey to the West, when the goblins and demons wanted to eat flesh of Xuanzang, the Tang monk, right? They would say how they would eat his flesh and become immortal, powerful. Actually, it wasn't his flesh. It was his storehouse, his treasury they wanted. They wanted his essence, energy, and spirit. They wanted to stop him from gaining his goal, from becoming a Buddha. And, these beings, they'll do this in many ways, shapes and sizes, to disturb your concentration and steal your treasury. Excuse me. They'll come according to the conditions of the mind. If it's lustful, they'll come in a form which you find beautiful. If you're passionate about that, then they'll take your essence during sex. They'll take your essence, your energy, your spirit through anything that you have an attachment to. Sense and cultivation, we abstain from losing our energy, essence, and spirit. That's why there's retention. That's why you don't give your stuff, And the reason why there's retention practice is because people lost control. So there's a practice to regain control. You don't want to put out your essence for anything. You don't get any health problems from that either. Okay, so in conclusion for tonight's 50 Skandha Demon States discussion here, or introduction, the sutra, this section of the sutra goes very deep, and it's very important for cultivators to take as their guide. If you can take the 50 Skandha Demon States volume as your guide, you will never go wrong in your practice. If you can take the whole Shurangama Sutra as your foundation, you'll never go wrong in practice. And if you can memorize a Shurangama mantra and chant it and cultivate it and contemplate it, you will never go wrong in your practice. So my advice, take up the Shurangama Sutra, take up the 50 Skandha Demon States, and memorize, if you can, the Shurangama mantra. You'll never go wrong in your practice. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this show, and I hope it brings some interest in the 50 Skandha Demon States, because this is like a demon spotting mirror. It really shines the light on your own inner demons, and it lets you become aware of what external demons can come around and cause you problems. So please, it's not easy to come around, but I'm doing this show because it's so important. And I would like to talk more about the Shurangama Sutra in the future. Anywho, enjoy, and our next recording, our next show we will have for you, I believe we'll be talking about 6 harmonies in relationships, 6 harmonies in communities. We call it the 6 harmonies. And stay tuned for that show coming up soon. Thank you very much. Have a good day or night. Depends on the part of the world you're in.
Thank you for listening to Expedient Means at Lin Wei on Time Monk Radio. Please be sure to join us next week as Lin will be discussing the 6 harmonies. And to quote the final chapter of the Tao Te Ching, the sage does not accumulate. The more he assists others, the more he possesses. The more he gives to others, the more he gains.